Welcome back to the series. In today's episode, we continue the development of our republic. Last time, we focused on the construction of the steel complex and its commissioning. Trains are already transporting workers to the factories, and although production is not yet at full capacity, it has begun. Meanwhile, I have started doubling the line and building a second bridge over the river to reduce travel time. In addition, a large part of the line has already been electrified. As spring arrives, I begin planning the new city next to the steel complex, because we urgently need more workers. The main city is already full, there are no free apartments left, and people are starting to become unhappy. So this project is extremely important, not only for production, but also for the stability of our republic. I start with a high-voltage power line that connects our grid with the NATO power network. This which will allow us to sell electricity for dollars. The reason I build this first is simple. It is much easier to plan it now than to struggle later trying to route it around roads, buildings, and other infrastructure. You may also notice a small trick I use while placing the pylons. I add short segments of road between them. The goal is to increase the spacing between the pylons and reduce the total cost of materials and construction work. This little life hack also makes the power lines look much more realistic. By default, the pylons are placed very close to each other, at least in my opinion. So spacing them out like this gives the whole line a more natural appearance. After reserving space for the electrical infrastructure, we can now begin shaping the road layout of the new town. Most likely this will be a relatively small town. The available space here is limited, so there is no need for overly complex infrastructure. The main purpose of this settlement is to house as many workers as possible who will be employed in the steel plants. While planning a town like this, it is very important to imagine the future transportation scheme in advance, and to organize the buildings around it. At the same time, the road network should be designed in a way that allows that system to function efficiently. Also, there are some essential services that we must provide for the population. Things like a grocery store, places for sports and leisure, police and fire services, healthcare, and a few other basic needs. In this case, I will rely mainly on bus transport. Because of the relatively small size of the settlement, we will only need about 2 or 3 bus stops in total. The first and most important stop will be located next to the railway station. Around this area we will concentrate most of the services and public buildings, making it the small central hub of the town. Another key element of urban infrastructure is walkways. They can be a huge factor in moving between different buildings. Since people's walking distance is limited, it is important to plan as directly as possible if we want to achieve maximum effect. Much of the basic infrastructure has been planned, so we can move on to construction. Construction in the new town is progressing at a decent pace. But that does not mean much if we do not secure the most basic living conditions for the future residents. Things like water and heating. With that in mind, I start planning the town heating network. These pipelines will carry heat from the heating plant to the residential buildings in the new town. In this case, we actually have quite a lot of open space available, which makes the routing much easier. Because of that, most of the pipes can run above ground, which will save a lot of work, time, and construction materials. To be honest, I did not expect that we would start building the heating infrastructure this soon after starting the industrial complex. But since the new town will depend heavily on the nearby steel plants, it makes sense to prepare the heating system early so everything is ready once people begin moving in. Next, we move on to the electrical network for the new town. Just like with water and heating, electricity is one of those systems that must be planned early. Without a stable power supply, none of the residential buildings or public services will be able to function. Next, we move on to the water supply and sewage system. Just like electricity and heating, water infrastructure is essential before the town can truly function. Residential buildings, services, and industry all depend on a stable water supply. For this town, the clean water will come from the same main water system that already serves the rest of the republic. A pipeline will bring fresh water across the river and connect it to a local water tower. The tower will act as a buffer and maintain stable pressure for the entire settlement. From there, smaller pipelines will distribute water to the residential blocks and public buildings. At the same time, we also need to take care of the sewage network. Every building must be connected to underground pipes that collect wastewater and transport it away from the town. It may not be the most exciting part of city building, but without water and sewage systems, a city simply cannot exist. After months of work, it is finally time for the most exciting part, welcoming the first residents to the new town. To start things carefully, I will allow people to move into just one apartment block. This lets us observe how the city's systems behave under real conditions. If everything works as expected, we can gradually open the remaining residential buildings. For now, the town already has most of the essential services needed for everyday life. However, a few things are still missing. To solve this temporarily, we will rely on a bus connection to the main city. This line will allow residents to travel there and satisfy any needs that are not yet available locally. At the same time, I have also launched the first dedicated bus route to the industrial zone. This line will transport workers directly to the steel complex, helping the factories begin operating more efficiently. And with the first residents settling in and transportation starting to operate, this feels like the perfect moment to wrap up today's episode. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and consider becoming a member to support the series. And as always, I will see you in the next episode.